I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. In this video, we'll discuss volume and surface area of prism and cylinders. Here is a very popular question. An old rectangular prism water storage tank has capacity of 120,000 meter cube. It is to be replaced by a new cylindrical tank of the same capacity. It has three parts. Part A is find the dimensions of the new tank if its area of the base is twice that of the previous tank. Explain the assumptions considered to solve. Part B is it costs $1.25 to paint each square meter of the tank's surface. Find the cost to paint the outside of the tank. And C is a metal cover is placed on the top of the tank for security. It costs $2 per meter cube. Find the cost of the cover if it is 5 centimeter thick. So this is a very interesting question. I would like you to pause the video, try to solve it. You will need a calculator for sure, and then look into my suggestions. Now we are only given the capacity of the tank. How do we move from here? That is kind of very interesting. So let's think over it. So what I'm going to do here is provide you with a sketch to understand the situation. So let us say we make a rectangular prism first. So this is how you can make easily a rectangular prism. Try to make a rectangle and then that is the top, or you could also make another rectangle and connect them. So we have a rectangular prism here. The capacity is the volume of the prism. So we know that this volume V is equal to 120,000. Now, cost of the tank really depends on the surface area. Important thing to note here is that cube has minimum surface area for same volume. That is very important to understand. So normally you will find that the shapes will be kind of cubic. So it is least expensive. Since we have a water tank capacity 120,000, we will look into the dimensions which are kind of cubic. So we'll explore what is the cube root of 120,000. Cube root is like what three numbers could be multiplied to get 120,000. It seems to be a bit complicated, but if you could approximate, then you could also multiply 50, 50, and 50. You will get a value which is very close to it. But let us calculate cube root. So the calculator has this function. You can do shift and then square root will give you cube root, and then write down 120,000. You get approximately 49.32. Now for simpler calculations, we'll definitely avoid the decimals and we'll say let us take the base as 50 meters, right? Does it make sense to you? So we'll make base as 50 meters. Now if I take base as 50 meters, what is going to be the height? Let's work that out also. So in this case, we are assuming that our base is 50, let me write down here on the top itself, is 50 by 50. Is that clear to you? So that becomes base is also same. Let me complete this. Okay, so 50 by 50. Now if that is the bottom surface, 50 by 50, in that case, what should be the height? Well, the height is calculated from the volume, because volume is length into width times height, and from here height equals to volume divided by length into width. So in this case, we have a volume of 120,000. We are going to divide this by 50 by 50. And what do we get? Let's calculate this. So when I divide 120,000 divided by 50 and then again by 50, I get a number which is 48. So the height of this becomes 48 meters. So what I'm trying to say here is that we have assumed that the original rectangular prism is cubic. So the rectangular prism is close to cubic. On that assumption, we got the dimensions as 50 meters by 50 meters by 48 meters, right? So that is what we get. And when you multiply, you do get the same volume as 120,000 meter cube. Does make sense to you? Now this is a very important part, since in the question also it is mentioned very clearly that we need to do the assumptions. It says find the dimensions of the new tank if its area of the base is twice that of the previous tank. Explain the assumptions considered to solve, right? So that is the important part. So whenever you do a question, there could be possibilities of different answers. So we are trying to explain the assumptions to solve such questions. It is kind of an open question for you. Well, you could assume some other values also, right? You could do that. You could do 40 times, 50 times, and some other number to get your result. 120 is 40 into 30. You could do that also. 40 into 30 times 100, right? That also is a possible answer. So there are many possible answers, but we will stick to a squarish base. So we are saying that the bottom of the base is a square, right? And the area, therefore, is 25,000, correct? 50 into 50. Perfect. Okay. Now let's move on with this assumption, and now we'll answer rest of the questions. So once again, the volume is given to us, which is 120,000 meter cube. And since we assume area of the base to be square, so we are saying area of the base is 50 by 50, right? 50 by 50 meters square. So 2500 meters square. Now, the question here is, find the dimensions of the new tank if its area of the base is twice that of the previous tank. So new area is 2 times 2500, so which is 5000. And the new tank is cylindrical in shape, right? So new tank is cylindrical in shape. Let's make one cylinder, and then we'll work out the calculations. So that is cylindrical in shape. And we are saying that the area of the base is 5000. What should be the height? Well, earlier height was 48, so it should be 24, half of 48, because the base is double, right? So we can say height is, or you can do 120,000, the volume, divided by area of 5000, which will give you 24. So what we did was, we divided the volume by area to get height. Is that clear to you? When you double the area of the base, height has to be half of it for the same volume, right? Okay. Now the question is, find the dimensions of the new tank if its area of the base is twice that of the previous tank. Dimensions really means what? Dimensions mean, in this case, we need to find the radius. We have already found the height, which is 24. So radius is pi r square, which is area. That should give you the answer, right? So area is equal to pi r square, and that is equal to 5,000. So from here, we can get the value of radius. So let's find this. So the radius for us is equal to 5,000 divided by pi, and that is the square, so we'll have to square root it. So let's again use the calculator. So it is 50 times 50 is 50 is outside, but we'll do within square root, we'll divide 5,000 by 3.14, and what we get is 39.9. So this gives us a value 39.9 meters approximately. Perfect. We are taking value of pi as 3.14 in our calculations. So we got the answer for the first question now, and the answer is that the cylinder has radius of 39.9 meters and height of 24 meters. 24 meters, we did a shortcut, right? We said half of previous. Perfect. Since the area is double. Perfect. So with that in mind, we have height of 24 meters and radius of 39.9. We'll answer rest of the questions on the next page. It costs $1.25 to paint each square meter of the tank surface. Find the cost to paint the outside of the tank. A metal cover is placed on the top of the tank for security. It costs $2 per meter cube. Find the cost of the cover if it is 5 centimeter thick. So what we have now is a cylindrical tank. We already know that its radius is how much? 39.9. So let's write down the dimensions. So the radius r equals to 39.9 meters and the height h is 24 meters. So we need to find the surface area now. Surface area is, we're only interested in painting the curved surface, correct? Only the curved surface. So this area, which is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is the circumference times the height, 2 pi r h. That becomes the curved surface area. So we can now substitute the values. Pi is 3.14, radius is 39.9, and the height is 24. So we get surface area in meters square. And we'll multiply this by the cost to get the cost. But first, let's just find the surface area. 2 times 3.14 times 39.9 times 24. And that gives you 6013.7, let's say approximate to 3. Now what is the cost? Cost is given to us as a rate of 125 per meter square. So we'll multiply the surface area with the rate. So we get cost as 6.13.73 times 1.25. And that gives you the value in dollars. So we'll multiply this by 1.25 and the cost is approximately 7517. 7517. Okay, so we'll round it to whole number. $7,517 to paint this tank just from outside, okay? So that is what our answer is going to be. So let's check this calculation once again. We'll multiply all the numbers. So we get 2 times 3.14 times 39.9 times 24 times 1.25. It is always a good idea to check we get exactly the same answer. So that is perfectly fine. Now let's move on and figure out what is the area of the top cover. So we have very limited space here. Let's try to push the page a bit up now and then we'll calculate the surface area. So we'll do part C now. We have done part B. Okay, let me just draw a line here. Okay, now let's do part C. So we've done B. A metal cover is placed on the top of the tank for security. It costs $2 per meter cube. Find the cost of the cover if it is 5 centimeter thick. Right? And the cost is per meter cube. So let's find the volume of our cover. So we have to find volume of metal cover. So volume is area into height. Now in our case, what is the area and what is the height? Well, we have already calculated surface area as 50 times 50, right? And the height in this case is point in meters, 0.05 meters. We have to convert centimeters to meters. Does make sense to you? Since area is in meters square. And cost will be multiplied this by the rate. So we can now write cost of cover will be equals to volume times rate. So we will multiply all the three numbers since we know that the rate is $2 per meter square. So when you multiply, area is 50 times 50, the height is 0.05 and the rate is $2 to get our answer. So let's use the calculator once again and get the answer. So 50 times 50 times 0.05 times 2 equals to 250. So we get the cover as in dollars $250. Correct? Now, it is very important to understand how we converted 5 centimeters into meters. So we did 5 centimeters divided by 100, right? Because 1 meter is 100 centimeters. And that gave us 0.05. Sometimes you may make a mistake in this. So that is how we converted centimeters to meters. And then we multiplied all of them to get our answer, right? So approximately when you do 2 times 0.5, you get 0.1. And then that is assumed to be correct. Is that clear to you? So we get both the costs here, the cost for the paint and the cost for the cover, which is $250. So I hope with this you understand how to solve such questions. So it was a very interesting question. I hope you have understood the concept. And our assumption basically was that we took the base as a square base. So we took a square base here, right? So this base was square for us to minimize the cost. That is the whole idea, right? So we had a square base to minimize the cost. And I hope you understand it gives you stability also. So two important things which we need to consider in design is stability, and second is the cost. Now, question for you is, why is it stable? Why is it stable? So that is a question for you to answer. I hope you find this interesting and useful. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.